This is kind of also like my first time kind of giving, I guess, a presentation to like such a great audience. So I'm just a little nervous. So if I'm having if there's some hiccups or anything, please excuse that. So basically, I kind of just made like a short little presentation on basically how to deal with like the trenches of social media marketing. I say trenches just because it's pretty daunting even to me too, even as a Gen Z or yeah, Gen X actually. Wait, no, I'm Gen Z, sorry. Gen Z, still trying to like navigate with social media continuously kind of evolving and developing. So really quick, a little about me. Like Angela said, I'm the VP of Marketing Communications for the Student Alumni Leadership Council. I have experience with managing, marketing, and like social media management throughout high school as I was in like our school newspaper, managing our social media there, and my rowing club team there. I managed the social media and such, creating flyers, posters, and just kind of broadening our social media audience. So that's kind of what I was in charge with and kind of what I'm applying now in SALC. But since obviously it's in university and it's like a much bigger audience, I'm just continuously developing my skills and my ability to kind of reach wider audiences, especially just to kind of get students to understand and really learn more about the opportunities and amazing connections that we have. Because as I'm in this role and as I'm in the school, I continuously like learn of the great opportunities, career opportunities, and just networking systems that could really benefit me if I'd known them sooner and everything. So that's just kind of how it's going. So I kind of wanted to divide this presentation into four main topics. First, it's just kind of like what you can use to promote and like what social media platforms you can use to promote and like what you can use. The second is just kind of how to get the hang of these tech savvy applications, just because again, like it's evolving, it's continuously developing. There's just gonna be more buttons to press, more little navigating things on the computer and screen. So we're always gonna need to know that. The third one is what can we do to just kind of make sure our marketing is always reaching people and kind of how to make it just more pop out, I would say. And then number four is just kind of also understanding the audience perspective, because really important to kind of understand who you're trying to promote this, like maybe an event to or something, who you're trying to and like what they like and kind of using what they like to promote better. Okay. Yeah, so first is different ways we can promote. Here's just some like icons that I put out that I personally use for marketing and social media management. I do want to also note that I know TikTok, we're not allowed to use that platform, but I do use TikTok to help edit videos for me. And it is really, what's it called? It's really easy to use actually. I've never edited a video so quick thanks to TikTok. So TikTok is just for like the use of it. Um, but just basically the platforms I use, of course, Instagram, LinkedIn, and then that's what I use to promote. And then Google and Canva, I would say I use those to kind of first for inspirations and ideas, and then Canva is kind of like the collection of that, making sure to make those posts and make those things. Um, so it's really it can vary too. I think I forgot to put like Facebook. There's other like social media resources and platforms that we can use, but these are just types of platforms. Oh, yes, actually before that. So there's platforms like this, and then to use these platforms in the most efficient way, just have some examples on what we can do to kind of use those to stand out to the audience. And the first example I have is kind of memes. So I kind of, again, like using Google and everything, I just searched up like a blank meme template, what I did, and what I do to kind of make it funny and make it kind of unique in a way, rather than the same boring like flyer, posters, and such. I thought like a meme template, those are really fun and just like easy to use. I just searched one up and then I just kind of used it to create a template like this, where in that space in the paper where it invites us to write anything. This is just what I did for an example, saying I'm not going to this UMD alumni event, and then just with like the whole aspect of how this meme template is just kind of funny. I would say it's pretty amusing, I would say. And it kind of does catch people's attention just because it's different. So I would say kind of approaching when you do social media marketing, always trying to see if you can do something different rather than the same thing over and over again, which I think is a um, very important also just to kind of retain the followers, I would say, because for me as well, if I like follow an account or something and they do the same thing over and over again, I end up unfollowing, and then that's kind of like a big reason why followers can go down, especially if we want to increase our social media presence and we want like our main objective is to increase followers so we can reach a wider audience, but then kind of doing the same thing over and over again will kind of get people to be like, I don't know why I'm following this account anymore. I don't know why I'm following this organization anymore. It's not really worth it. So then it kind of gets people to kind of step back and not really want to engage or just be more interested in the organization than we want to. So that's kind of just one way. Another way, really fun is reels and videos. I just did like a little screenshot of kind of how the SALC Instagram is looking like right now under the reel section. So one I did make recently was this one, the good morning one, where it says good morning of our VP of alumni programming, where we were doing the Terps Under 30, like our biggest event. So basically, rather than just kind of also having just posts where you look at, videos can be so helpful and so honestly fun to do, especially if since since TikTok is just increasing and just the presence of it and almost everyone, lots of students um, are using TikTok, but like if we're not allowed to use that platform to promote our events, then using our Instagram Reels would be incredibly helpful. And we can like not just for Instagram, we can always use that to post on like other platforms like LinkedIn and such. But Reels and videos are definitely a really great way to kind of see people moving, I would say. Like as kind of obvious as it sounds, seeing people move and talk can really kind of get people to kind of just wait and listen, rather than just reading off a text on a post or reading off a text on a flyer, just kind of hearing people and kind of seeing people act out and everything and seeing like engagements like this little snippet we see here where like the alumni association is all gathered together and just like really showing this like team effort and team collaboration, just seeing that on a video or a reel is it's really inviting. It really welcomes the audience and people who see it. So I would say these two again is really helpful and really good to do. We are actually, for example, for Terps Under 30, today we're filming a like, why are you excited for Terps Under 30? Why are you excited for this event? And we're just kind of gonna make a video like that and then just kind of post it. So that's kind of like one example of us using it and why we think that it's really important. Just again for diversity, like the meme templates and such. Okay, so for different resources that can help, obviously I would think YouTube is really helpful. I continuously use YouTube to kind of search for people and digital experts who are really easy, who can really explain how to navigate Canva really well. I would say Canva is like the best thing to use for post creation and everything, like social media post creations. And then I really like this creator. He kind of like helps me at first with the ideas and kind of how to navigate it, and then kind of the other obvious thing is just the Canva organization itself, giving us tips and tricks on how to bring like what it says on the Canva, well, how to bring your ideas to life, how to just incorporate more fun ways to kind of show people your events and ideas rather than just like a plain black and white text. Other helpful resources that I think is very big is kind of other Instagram accounts. So I put SALC just as an example, but kind of looking at other people's Instagrams, looking at other people's LinkedIns, looking at other people's like social media presence, just seeing if there's like 100K followers and we only have 10K? Why does this organization of 100K, what do they do to market? How do they utilize social media? So then like for me personally too, I just like look through other social media accounts and being like, what did they do? Like, why do they have so many likes on this post and everything? Um, is it the quality? Is it the cover photo that got people to first click it? Is it just the content itself? So kind of just getting inspiration from other people is just really important and just really a good way to kind of get
Oh yeah.
inspiration. And then lastly, what I put here is kind of Pinterest. I would say Pinterest is very good for image ideas, kind of because Pinterest is just known for it's known for being a platform where you can explore different aesthetics and explore different themes. And from that, I either like pull away some photos or get like links of the links of the things that were on the post on Pinterest and put that into my social media posts and everything. So I would say this and other resources, of course, but I do mainly utilize these four resources. And honestly, other resources is kind of like your teammates, other fellow people who are looking through your process of the marketing. They're definitely a big help in kind of helping you say, I don't know if this is the right approach, or I don't know if this is the right way to do it. So that's definitely one way. Yes, okay. And then next, I would say is a marketing plan. So this is an example of a marketing plan that we've made for TERPs under 30. Basically, as simple as this can look, it's kind of a step-by-step on how to, or like what we should post, what we should introduce and what we should get ready for. It's very great in terms of organization and kind of having everyone on the team on the same page, especially with TERPS Under 30 organization event. It's being our biggest event. We want to make sure that we're consistently on people's for either for you page or we pop up in their feed. We want to make sure for consistency, but also kind of making sure everyone's on the right path. Like for example, today on March 25th, we were going to post one of our SALC members' reels. I don't know if we're going to get to that actually because there were some complications in that, but just for as an example, just kind of showing a step by step. It's a great way to kind of see it as a checklist as well, to kind of go back into did we do this? Did we make sure that we kind of time the dates we post consistently so people don't get too sick of it, but also they when they see it, they're like, oh wait, I just saw this. Like this is interesting. So we want to make sure that people don't always see the content because they could get sick of it and be like, okay, this is too much. I don't want to follow it. But also kind of, I would say, taking a step back and just spacing it well for people to kind of like I guess miss the content. They're like, oh wait, I kind of missed this. Like I want to see what this is more about. So that would say is a great strategy and great tool that we use. It was introduced to me too from Rose, our advisor, and I actually didn't really think about a marketing plan, but then thanks to Rose, I've like we made this plan and we were able to kind of it's the process has been very smooth actually, and everyone on the team knows what to do, so it's just been really helpful for me, but for everyone else in the organization to kind of know what they're doing and know what to do. Oh yes. And for like a quick helpful like just like an example that I wanted to put out, isn't it like from my point of view. So we had a SALC abroad post, just like a highlight to highlight some students who went abroad. This first picture is kind of what I first made. And then from what we can see um from the feedback I got from Rose and from other students, they would tell me that there's a bit too much wording, there's a bit too much going on. It kind of takes away from the focus of Amanda, our SLC member. So then we kind of changed it to this one where it's a lot more simple. It's a lot more like understanding like why are we looking at this post. So I just wanted to kind of give this quick little example on how we can utilize our resources and our like feedback from other people to kind of improve on our social media presence. Always just making sure that you're not it's not too much, but we're also just kind of like making sure we focus on what we want to focus rather than just wanting to put all the information on one thing and one slide. So that was just one example that I want to put out. Yeah, and then connecting back to what I said, the biggest and best resource for me specifically would be colleagues and peers. Receiving that constructive criticism and feedback is always, or I would say, is the best way to just improve. So I would say just kind of always striving to listen and have an open mindset on what people have to say about any drafts or any marketing plans or any ideas that we may have. I did also want to give some examples of some like the little things that I've learned that has like that's been pretty like that's been a big impact on kind of how we market in the future and everything. For example, like red on black or vice versa, it just makes it hard to read, makes it hard to kind of see as well. We want to make sure that we like our all our posts and all our social media is accessible for everyone and to everyone. Another thing is, as obvious as it is, equal representation. For example, kind of always keeping that in the back of your mind. For me, I kind of, in SALC, there is a greater female population than guys population. So when we were doing some new member shout outs, I sometimes would kind of only focus on the girls because I was going down a list. But then I was like, reminded thankfully from Rose and from other people that it would be great to just kind of like maybe include one guy from the list and then just like put that in as well. Always ensuring equal representation and like making sure that we show on social media and on a public platform like what we stand for. Because SALC is all about equal representation and equity and just making sure that everyone has their voice heard and everything. So we want to also reflect that on social media. And then lastly, simple is better. Sometimes, like the last example I showed, not too much, but also just kind of sh emphasizing and focusing on the key things that you want to deliver is like just the best way to kind of do it. Also for me as well, like my attention span can kind of go down. So then if I see too many words, I'm just like, okay, never mind. I don't really want to read this. So I kind of like end up skipping that. So we want to avoid that definitely, especially in events that we want students to come to connect with the Alumni Association and other like alumni events. So that's just like kind of like the big thing that I wanted to emphasize and that when what has been emphasized to me to focus on. And then how can I increase my presence on social media? Here's some like basic ways that I've written down how to increase collaborating with other accounts and organizations. For example, today we posted on our SALC account for one of our TERPs under 30 speakers, Alexis Bravo. Kind of doing some research on her background. She went to the BSOS college and then she did lots of journalism. She worked in the journalism advising with Merrill College. So having that like information in the back of our mind, we kind of tagged those colleges, Merrill College, BSOS, and other colleges that relate to her to kind of increase audience, to broaden the audience and not just show her to SALC, but to other college audiences as well. And then, like I said, consistent posting, utilizing that marketing plan to make sure you're not spamming people, but also making sure that you're being consistent and people can always see you and be like, oh, wait, I saw this. Like, I saw this on my feed like 2 days ago. Like, maybe I'm more interested in this. So they kind of go back to it. And again, diversify ways of posting, reels, memes, videos, and just normal posts as well. And then for me, I think a fun little small way is just incorporating emojis as well. Rather than just having text, having seen those little small images to kind of illustrate like what the like illustrate the text and everything is always a fun way. Using the cover as a hook, like for example, I'll show an example later, but then kind of using what people see first that makes them click, like what makes people click on a post, what makes people click on a video. That's very important. Um, and then lastly, I would say giveaways, but then that's very broad. I would say kind of seeing how people can engage with the account and organization as much as possible. So one example that I wanted to put were these different examples of what we've done in the past for our SALC account. So Instagram has great great tools for us to use on our stories, like polls such as these, or like little question templates. And then we had people respond to this. Like, for example, for Charter Day, actually, about a week before spring break, I would say, we would ask these questions and then people would respond. It's just a really nice way to kind of have people engage and like be like, oh wow, people are actually interested and people are actually wanting to be involved in like the Maryland community and even further. So that would these are some ways that we can use to kind of diversify and kind of get people to like actually not just look at it and skip the stories and skip the posts, but to actually like write down and then like engage with us. So I found these were very helpful resources. And then lastly, I wanted to talk about knowing who your audience is. So basically, for like content preferences, I kind of did like a little research on like what the different, I guess, generations like kind of in reality, we all have to kind of know who our audience is. So I kind of did like a short little thing of like each generation. For example, like Gen X, they would have more, or according to like Google and according to other resources, they would prefer more like just straightforward brand messaging, just kind of more informational content that can get people invested and such. For millennials, it would just be more for kind of like behind the scenes content, like the brand storytelling and such. And then Gen Z would just be the short, impactful, visually engaging content, like those 10, 15-second TikTok trends, like how-to videos and such. And I would say influencers as well. So then like rather than just influencers, we can always do some um like high figure or like some established person if we can use them to kind of like expand and promote our events and such more and like just humorous content as well. So I would say like I do kind of notice as a Gen Z and seeing other Gen Zs as well, we have very short attention spans. So then for us, it would just be better for kind of like quick videos that gets people like that like gets people like whoa like I'm it's very short to watch. I'll just watch it and just get on with my day. But then if they end up watching it, they might end up liking it. So it's always kind of knowing best how to utilize these and kind of come to a compromise, especially if our audience is meant for everyone. So that's just kind of a good way to kind of keep in mind, especially for me as I do content. And yeah, so here's like a quick little example that I kind of made up. So like if this is for like a bake sale or something, on the left, you would kind of see more text and more kind of why we're doing this and then what there's going to be. There's obviously an image here, so that can get people's attention, but the other half is just full text and just black and white. So then for some people, it might just be like, oh wait, there's too many texts. I don't really know if I care or I don't know anything. Or they might just see like the image part and they might not read the text part. And then when they end up showing up, they're going to be like, oh, wait a second, this is not what I thought. And then for the right, this is just I just kind of made sure to kind of emphasize like the pastries, cookies, and brownies, and like the price only $3. The difference between these two, I would say for me, I mean, especially when I see this, I kind of shift more towards the right. So as like kind of obvious as it is, kind of just the moment we see more images, the moment we see more of what's being offered and what the highlight of like the event is or something, that kind of gets people more attracted and everything. And then kind of like the wording I would say too, saying only $3. Like $3 for a cookie might be a lot, but then once you put that only in like a post or something that has a lot of pastries and cookies, saying the only kind of get people like, oh wait a second, this is only $3, like I want to get this or something. So that kind of gets people to kind of that gets people to really kind of engage more and be like, oh, wait a second, like this is coming into my attention. Like I guess I can go to this and see it and get like a cookie or get a brownie or something. So this is kind of one little example that I wanted to give. Um, yes, and then lastly, I'm sorry, maybe I'm talking too much, but I just kind of wanted to say that social media is always developing, it's always evolving. Even I'm having trouble with keeping up with the new content, new trends, new new things that are happening. So it's always just a good reminder to kind of understand that it's always a work in progress. So I would just say like don't feel too discouraged on like thinking, oh my God, I have to keep up with this, or oh my goodness, like if this post that I just posted doesn't reach a lot of people, like I'm a failure. Like sometimes I think that too, but then it's important to realize that like that's not the case. Social media is so like it's so uncertain. Like you'll never know. Like sometimes random people get famous or viral on TikTok or YouTube or Instagram. And honestly, there's no explanation for that other than it's just pure luck. So that's kind of wanted to say. Yeah, thank you so much for listening. Sorry if I talked too much.
Thank you so much. This was a wealth of information. I appreciate all of that. There was one question so far in the chat, and then I don't know if anyone else has any other, but the question is, with the blowback on some of the biggest social media sites, are you seeing changes in your audience? And are you trying alternate sites to engage a bigger audience?
Yes. Sorry, let me just read that one more time. Yes, I would say kind of the most obvious thing, especially with like for a small example, like TikTok, it was gone, but then now it's back. I think the fact that like it being gone, but then it coming back got people more being like, wait a second, like more transition into TikTok. So then that kind of affects the that kind of affects like the reels and videos that we've been posting that affects not just for us, but for everyone as well. And that does kind of show changes in how the audience kind of engages, whether they prefer to be in a social media site where there was so much for like controversy or something compared to something that's been consistent for a while. And yes, we are also trying alternative sites to engage a bigger audience. We've been using LinkedIn as well for Terps Under 30. So we are just going to continuously use LinkedIn as well. I would say, I'm thinking Rose and I have also been talking about other like so platforms that university students and like the university uses. But for now, we kind of are resorting more with LinkedIn and Instagram. We kind of want to also do more LinkedIn as well because I've been noticing it's for me as well. I've been using LinkedIn more than I've ever done. There's more people using LinkedIn, especially with like the internship, job scrambles, and everything. There's a bigger presence of audience and bigger presence of people in LinkedIn. So we do want to utilize that while there's that shift in people kind of being more obsessed with LinkedIn, using that as a way to just promote more and such. So I would say yes, yeah, that's what we've been doing so far.
And then do boards have LinkedIn accounts already, or is that something? Yeah, if your boards want to promote on LinkedIn, then you would just have to do it, like you would create the page yourself. So we don't have pre-established LinkedIn pages for the boards.